by the time you hear this, or you found this video, or it comes out or something, should be around Christmas, or it should be a day after or 2 days after it. It's not important. The fact is that it just comes out. When I'm recording this, however, is about 2, 3, 4 days after CF. Uh, I mean, after dealing with it, it's like, first day after it, you deal with the post stuff where, like, oh, your sickness, your body's tired and everything, oh, yada yada. And the other is just getting the mindset of going back to work or college. Because I'm a slow brainer, so I have to take a whole last week, not off, just take a whole last week to really reconfigure my brain again for it. Anyways, so I thought now that I have a clear head that I want to do a retrospective, a looking back, because some people, especially the bigger content creators, are able to just make it right after they go back, and props to them, good on them, whatever. I kind of couldn't do that, so now I'm using the free time I have to do so. So, and right, to compare, I guess it's hard to compare because we have like 2 year gap of the whole thing not existing, and I actually been going there since 2015, and till before this one was like 2019, like straight up every year, right? Um, so I kind of just want to not review. It's more like this is more like a personal diary that I will just post online just for fun, whatever. Anyways, so let's get the obvious thing out of the way, right? It was hella crowded. It was no, like, you are basically sardined into a situation where you can barely move. You're moving at a snail, no, crawl's pace of just walking through a giant ass line to just get in. Because why? Because this is also the first CF where there was a bunch of red flags going into this. Obviously, I had to ignore them. I saw it, but I had to ignore them because, it's a yearly thing I do. It's like a tradition. Sometimes it's actually fucking harmful for a certain demographic of a group, but you still do it because it's tradition. Anyways, um, first red flag was pre-order tickets was full, right? Pre-order tickets, which is not something you can hear because technically pre-order tickets are unlimited. Technically, there's a space, but the fact that they had to announce that they're not making on-site tickets was a sign to me that, oh, it's going to be a lot of people. The 90 ringgit like price point wasn't enough to stop a good chunk of people, because I saw, right, like any social media, just complaining, oh, the price is so high, everything. And also, this also doesn't include like people that are staying outside, because technically people are staying outside should be not lining up and actually being outside or just being LCC in general, so it was supposed to be fine. I was already expecting there's gonna be more than people that are just getting in, but the people are getting in was so much to the point where there's this thing where inside the halls, me and most of my friends that I tag along with from day one and day two kind of put an agreement that the moment we come in, we won't get out. If we were to get out, we are screwed. This also applies to just from going from bottom to top floor, and so whenever you're in the bottom floor, get whatever the fuck you want, and do not look back. Just get it, and if you think you have the budget for it, go get it. If you don't, just don't, and forget about it. Why? Because the the crowd was so much and it was kept moving, and it was packed. It was so packed that you have a better chance at just impulse everything, and if you have a good spending habit, you're safe. If you don't, well, you're screwed. And you just have to move. Always keep on the move. And it sucks. Right? It sucks. It's obviously like, oh, this is the first time even like a returning person like me coming back was shocked. Well, as shocked as someone who kind of predicted everything, and if he put it on a bet, he would have won a lot of money on as it was. But it was more of like, aside from being like aside from being and sounding like a dick about it, there was a lot of signs already, and a lot of people already knew about it. And I kept telling some of my friends, and also like some of my housemates and roommates who wanted to go, didn't got a ticket, say like, don't feel bad about it. This year's probably going to be a bunch of people, and you probably wouldn't be able to enjoy it. You're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be stuck like in the lines and in the halls, because one, the tickets sold out. It was a red flag already for pre-order tickets to go sold out. And the fact that the fact that the previous events was already like filled to the brim, where people can barely move. The last event I went to before this was Anime Fest, around, I think it was July, and it was already hellish as fuck to go there. So that was already a sign for me to say no. This is going to be the new, like, how events are going to be conducted here, and it's fine, great, all power to the things I love, right? All more people coming and more people accepting, and that's a conversation. Like the whole idea of, oh, I wish they had that thing with like the old days, is a conversation for another day, right? So what else? And I told them, don't feel bad. You're probably not gonna enjoy it. And as someone who goes there every single year, or could say, this is gonna be the worst year ever. And if this is your first, I said, or highly suggest. But then again, right? To them, and I understand, is that it's like a rich person coming up to you and tell you money doesn't give you happiness, and they take it with a grain of salt, and that's fine, right? That's completely understandable, bias and everything, completely understandable. And lo and behold, I was true. I was right. The first day was obviously a complete shit show, and oh, trust me, I'm complaining. I'm telling all the bads now, but overall, I actually don't hate it as much as I want, as I'm making it sound. But for the first day, it was completely out of hand, because obviously, right, they have a protocol and everything. They knew how much people were going to come in, but they didn't expect to be that much. It's clear as day that they did not expect the magnitude of people that are coming here. And so what happened was, there would be around three lines, where one is from the center, like the convention center, spanning into the shopping mall. The second line was spanning into, I think it was around the Moss area, and there was another one there where it just lined up across the center itself. I got lucky where I was at the mall one, where there was a shortcut that we took, and we just somehow got in, just like that. Uh, well, it was shorter, but still long. It was shorter, and we got in. And obviously, since I was with friends and everything, uh, it made it much more easier to just power through it. But I had to actually constantly remind my friends that, well, not constantly lah. It's just like, okay, if we want to get something, we might want to need to get it now, because by the time we get in, where we just cannot go out, and we're not going out. And if we were, what you're gonna kiss your chances of goodbye to get in, right? So we did our thing, go around places and everything. I got lucky, where I had friends at booths, and I made a deal with them, basically saying, "Hey, I'll take care of your booth. Just let me sit." Because apparently, this year around as well, there's the no camping was super enforced. Okay, the camping thing is, I understand. Keep it moving, keep the flow moving. You don't want the thing to be congested with people sitting around unable to move and everything. 100% understandable. And to the people that were doing their job, also can't be mad, because like, I don't know if they're paid, but and also I don't know if you get extra for brownie points. But the I'm pretty sure if you don't do your job, then there's gonna be a worse something worse off to be dealt with, right? So what happened was, they ended up just enforcing no camping, no camping, no camping, no camping, in a situation where you always have to move. People are just tired. People are just fucked. And there's like the jokes. Oh, my legs and everything. All the jazz. I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, because people can't move anymore. People had just cannot sit the whole day, and I kind of prepare for this. As someone who's been here for a bunch of times, I actually did cardio the whole time. So it's, to me, the whole no sitting is not too big, such a big issue, as compared to some people who probably didn't do it, who probably didn't find the time to do it and everything and all that, right? So it's kind of bad on that end as well. The handling of births, the handling of stages is also another case, because of how full it is. You just cannot get into the stage. You have to actually be super early to get into the stage, and um, how do I say? And then, like, okay, the art market is being put into the third floor, which is a decent idea, like having a bigger art market, dedicated one, right? Because back then it was supposed to be one giant hall down there on the ground floor, where the art is just like the edge of the far end, where I think it was supposed to be esports area, and down there is just like all corporate, like, displays, and maybe like some like stuff, like expensive stuff, like merch and stuff down there. It's fine. It's completely fine. That's a good way of handling it. But the fact that it's sad that they expected so much people, that a good chunk of the halls were just there to greet the people. Because back then, when you get into the hall, if anyone that goes, you will know what I mean. Get into the hall. There's this, like, there's already booths and everything that you can go through. And the esports area was actually supposed to be somewhere around there, actually. Well, where you get in, the first thing you see is just people playing games and stuff, and you can go join them. And people who want to go, like, go to the stalls and stuff, could just go left, right, go right. By the time you get in, there's no giant live barriers into it, which just says hi. The high one it's hilarious. It's so fucking cold, but you know what? I'll leave it as that, because it's just a phrase. So, and then, right after all that, you get in. There's a bunch of stores. Obviously, okay. Here goes some, like, personal pet peeves. There's first, you would see a Mihoyo booth. The Mihoyo booth is, a typical Mihoyo stuff, is what I would normally say, but this year they fully decked out on Genshin. And any Mihoyo, like, people that I've met in there, was super sad, because, well, oh my god, Genshin, and everyone just flocked to there. But people who, a few years ago, it was actually like Honkai stuff, And there was a time, and actually in China and in certain parts of the Americas, Honkai is still being recognized in the MiHoYo booth, and they also like showcase like the Honkai Star Rail and everything. Here it's just full on Genshin. I understand why, but as someone who's been there and actually played Honkai and much prefer Honkai, if it weren't for a lot of technical issues on both phone and computer, I would have continued. But the fact that you just see Genshin only stuff and it just flocks there and just congesting the entrance is a bit sad. And also, it's like, oh, Honkai, Genshin is the only thing that matters because it's the only thing that really completely makes money, like basically prints out money. And I actually find it quite sad to see that my favorite game is not there anymore. And I get it. Get with the times, old man. But you could have at least displayed the newer projects as well. Like a lot of people would love to try out ZZZ. A lot of people would love to see how Honkai Star Rail is progressing, you know, on that booth. And I didn't get even to see what the merch was because it was so fucking full. And that sucks. Because that's the first thing that you see. And then you go a bit further in, and there comes in what's it called? The Hololive booth. I have a beef with Hololive. Well, not directly with the company. It's just how the management works. Because if I remember correctly, let me pull up. You probably wouldn't see it because this is like played against a background of like clips of stuff. Anyways, if I remember correctly, around the time that Hololive was supposed to be performing on stage is when usually the finals for fighting games showcase was supposed to be played on the previous year before this. And I just find it sad that they removed fighting game finals and the fighting game tournaments altogether for Hololive, and I'm kind of sad because that's actually one of the few things I kept looking forward to, and it's kind of what still drove me to play fighting games to this point, aside from like other external factors. But this is one of them. One of my dreams was to just be on that stage and just play to my heart's content. But I guess I can't reach that. But there's always Evo. Cope. Anyways, so now, and Hololive itself was pretty big, especially with Kobo coming in. Kobo, apparently everyone's heard of Kobo. I stopped. I don't have much attachment to Hololive as say other people what did. Like sure, Kiara was there, Ame was there, which was I think the last second to last generation that I kept kept note of. And Yofi was cool, but I didn't really like grew like didn't watch Yofi a lot, nor did I know about Kobo because I think I stopped after Hollow Myth. But Kiara and Ame was some of the ones that I actually had attachment to, but not enough for me to actually line up and take a picture and everything. And that's fine. People like it. People came by, and also just what's it called? Just get in, just line up, make a crowd there, and get the merch and everything. One of my friends got his merch, but unfortunately went lost, and people are there, and with how limited things are there, it's susceptible to be stolen and everything, and that sucks. It's another thing that just sucks. You go further, okay, and then you go further in. There's the figurine store and everything. Just fine, normal thing. I was actually kind of want to look at it, but I couldn't just because one, I was with friends, and it was just filled to the brim. I think if this keeps up, you might just want to go there alone. Like, trust me, you are better off alone with no real commitment. You can tell your friends, "Hey, we'll meet up." But my motto would probably be like, if we meet up, we meet up. If we don't, that's fine. Because you should just focus on having fun on your own. Completely. because if he keeps tuna up, if you keep starting up all that stuff, you're just better off being alone. No joke. So, oh god, I'm still sick from it. So, uh, there's also like the from the into the abyss. Dude, I personally don't have any attachment to that as well. I understand that he's a great artist. I understand that he's also a great writer because Into Abyss was actually well received. I haven't watched it. I just don't have the time for it. I should probably watch it though. And people are lining up. People are buying their books and everything. Kuni has like a staple there, so understandable. Let's get there, and then you walk into this just like this giant tunnel, for the halls, and you come out. There's the college stuff, the university like Undu Academy and everything. Normal stuff, staple. You go there, you navigate through, and then there's the obviously my employers, with Bilibili. They're showcasing like the big people there, and I don't know if I can disclose anything how the processing works. My model wasn't there because I think I was busy. I couldn't register it enough time, and I don't fit certain criteria of it, but that's fine. Whatever. I'm not salty. Um, and then you just kept on moving, and then there's the big hall where it was supposed to be the arts hall. It was the esports area where people were playing games with live commentary and everything. But it was a downgrade just because it's super small now. It's smaller than ever, and I'm not a big MOBA fan, so all I saw was like Mobile Legends, and I went, oh, okay, it's just Mobile Legends or World Rift, I don't know. But when oh, okay, it's just MOBA. Yay, I guess. I saw like a Bandai Namco banner up there, and I thought, oh shoot, let me watch some Tekken or something. Nope, there's nothing there, not nothing, and that's fine, whatever. So you move to, and this is the first day, right? This is all the first day experience, and then you go in, get tuna, not tuna. You get sardine into the hall, move at a slow pace, and then you make my way up to to the art booths. Art booths are separated into three. I don't know how they divided it up, but from what I see, it's basically like the first booth is like premium, like one is like normal booths, and then there's the premium section, and that's an all in one hall, which was in my head was like, oh, okay, that's normal. Let me just find where my friends was. But then there's another booth for normal. I don't know what it's called, but it's still the basic booth, like right behind the premium ones. And obviously, a part of growing up now is like nowadays I just look forward to seeing artwork, seeing the prints. I even got a Nito tote bag from it, and then it's cute. I like it. I like the personal made ones. Well, not to me, but more like to each artist, so you can feel the individuality of making those artworks, the prints, the keychains, and everything. It's super sweet. Actually, the stickers. I bought a bunch of stickers. Now that I figure out that you know what, fuck it, I'll just put plaster stickers on my laptop now. Anyway, moving on. So, and then my friend's booth is apparently like across, across like the other wing, where I just have to get out and go there. And there's this like super obtuse like roundabout system, or not roundabout system, U-turn system, where you have to actually go through all the halls to make a complete U-turn. When there's a big ass like hall, you already put dividers. Just put the fucking divider open, and you don't have to go through the halls. I digress. And yeah, that's where I hung out. Like, this is the third hall, the whole time, because that's where my friend's booth at. And I met some pretty interesting people. Well, on the booth side, I met Mikan, I met Bana. Nice people, amazing sellers, artists on their own right. And then I met a few VTubers along the way because they just know Mikan, and That's also another story for another day. Of how things are, but that's fine. I don't want to start anything. And then, because no one really listens to this at the end, and if you do, if you listen to this without any context, comment down. Um, I don't know. Comment if you're actually listening to this and you want to prove yourself that you listen to this, because I said no one would actually listen to this to fully. Just comment Saber without any context. Oh no no, yes actually just Saber, and then like if people start picking up, then uh I'll give it a bit. No no yeah, just comment Saber, and I'll let it be like that. Okay. Anyways, side tangent aside. So being in the booth, I also met a lot of like other artists as well. I get to meet like a few Guilty Gear players. So fun. The only issue is they were Axel mains, and I was a Beckett main. We didn't mix well. It's like mixing oil and water, but we had a great time. I managed to ask a lot of people, including like the people working there, like Mika and Wawa and also Urbana, on how like booths are being like run. And for the most part, it's pretty okay, aside from the hefty deposits that you have to do. But that's fine. I understand it's a big event. They can actually charge how much they would rather put, and the whole like how things are supplied and everything, and how like the prices work here and there and all that jazz. And then I also got to meet a lot of cosplayers there. I got to meet a lot of people that I end up making friends with in socials, and that's cool. I met a few artists, and I get to learn a few traits, tricks of the trades, or I don't know what to call it, in there, where it kind of helped me out as an artist, as someone who just wants to start drawing as a source of income, not the source of income, a source of income. And also how if I want to do events like this, how I would like how would go about it and plan about it, right? Because it's not something that you just decide overnight, or when the registration for the booth is open, you just don't go. You don't go just, oh, I want to open up a booth. Maybe I should just register and get it. And then when you get it, you don't really know what to do about it. No, you have to plan like you were about to get it. And if you don't get it, hey, big whoop. So and also got to understand like how they would conduct, say, things like for social media. Granted, it works for them. I don't know if it works for me. I'll try it out, and I'm learning. I'm trying out some of the tricks that they did to see if I can get a better audience. Not better as in like, oh, you guys suck though. Like a wider audience on that part. Because for drawing, it's cool to be personal, but I also need to showcase my work. I want to show my work to the world, and not just be this person who shitposts online and also do art on the side. No, I made a dedicated channel for that. Go follow it. It's in my link tree. You can find it. And also, I guess if you're watching this, you can prove that you're watching this and prove me wrong, because I know how much people love to prove me wrong. By going there, by following. Anyways, so we stayed there the whole day. It got crowded around 3 p.m. and I kind of know why. It's because people already like sardined into like downstairs for such a long time that evening was around the right time, anyways, a natural movement to just go up. And it got crowded. It got super cramped, and I didn't get a lot of pictures the first day too, and because the stage was full and the tickets were for economy was already like out, I ended up just packing my bags and just go went home like around 7, which also sucks because usually, and I always budget this where it's like, oh, I'm probably going to be going home at 9 or 10, whereas like after the concert and everything, because back then you could just go into a concert freely, and also because it just fits, almost everyone can join in, which sucks. This year you can't do that, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to because it definitely felt like there was no high note into the event, and there's definitely didn't feel like there's actual proper closure because the first like 2 day the first 2 days of after the event, it definitely felt like there was something lingering in my mind. It was like, oh, because there's no high note to end it on, and that's just me. That's just a me thing. That's just a personal thing where I tend to want to have a high note to end it on, unlike my streams, and that's it feels weird. It feels weird for the first time to not have a proper high note ending. And this goes for the second day too, where like I wanted to go. I saw clips and I just can't help but feel sad, where I cannot participate in it because one, I practically packed my bags way earlier on Sunday. Same routine, but this time around, I told my friends I'm not going to actively try to meet up with them. What I would do is I would line up, and then I got lucky because my friend was at the because the how the line works. The second one was more organized, but it was because of that it was super long. My friend made it halfway through, and he called me up saying, "Yo," because we saw each other because the line kind of clashed. He saw me and said, "Yo, come in, with my line. Come in with us, and you get to get in quicker." I was like, "Okay, cool." And no one bats an eye because friends, people, and everything, and no one wants to be that guy. So got in and made a lot of friends in the line, and I kind of picked up one of them along the way, and had a chat, everything, same routine, but this time I didn't stay on the bottom floor for too long. I actually stayed on the art section almost for the entire day. Right, and same thing. I went to get stuff and everything, help out my friends at the booth, and all's good. But there was also like the VTuber meetup lunch thingy. That was a I initially wanted to go, and then something came up and I bailed. That's also another story for another day. At this point, it's so long and it's been rambling a lot that I bet people kind of gave up on listening to it. Who knows? And I just went home at 6 because I, for the most part, accepted the fact that one, I had no friends to wait for, and two, I have nothing to wait for because the stage was already full by the time I wanted to go there, and I had no money left. This year was also like the lowest budget I had, in terms of going there due to certain like mishaps of like communications, and also like issues in spending because it's in between my uni time. If it's not, I probably have a lot of money from my work, but that's fine. And it's all good. It's fine. It happened. Uh, and then I just ended up just taking pictures of cosplayers and everything, and also how they reroute the KLCC one. It's smart on their part, but I feel bad for the cosplayers, or actually people that they I don't think they overlooked, but I also want to say they did, where the open doors are like in the middle of like restaurants, like a hall of restaurants, and people just walk there, and anyone that was eating, because I know there was also a dinner night as well because it was a Sunday, they were just looking at us, and that's fine. It's typical, like it's cosplay. You'd be a dickhead to be offended by people looking at you in cosplay. Anyways, that's how it's kind of summarized, but that's how like the experience was for me. It was kind of bland, nothing too exciting to share per se. It's not like, oh, I met my idol or whatever. Like, because there was always a highlight every year that I go. When the first one was, obviously because it was my first, I met with a lot of like artists, tutorial artists that I looked up, and also there was like the Studio 11, Mario Zima, who were working on, what was it called? The Not The Last of Us. What's the word? It was that like war game. I need to Google it real quick. Give me a minute. And then on 2016, it was after my exams, so it was amazing. It was like a treat for me to play to come there and fuck I it doesn't sound passionate. Trust me, I have a very monotone uh monotone state. But then it's like during 2017 there was Myth and Royd. It was so fucking cool. 2019 obviously had, I think, the most. Oh yeah, This War Is Mine. For the 2015 one, the guy who made the team that made This War of Mine came in. 2016 wasn't much anything of note in terms of performance there because it was my friend's first time, and I had to guide them, but they had to go home early because curfews, because being a teenager sucks. And then there's 2017 where Myth and Royd showed up. It was cool, but it was a shame that I couldn't get in because censors, because Myth and Royd was big. And then there's 2019 where there was so many highlights for 2019 with with people from not 2019, 2018. Yes, 2018 was where Myth and Roy came in, which was so fucking amazing. And there was like so much like highlights. For example, like Trigger coming in. That was the highlight. Another highlight was what was it? I think no. That one was the next year. But let's put it at that. And then there's like 2019 where Honda, the writer for Bookseller, Skullface Bookseller, Honda-san came in, and I was enamored because it was cool. And also, Kanaweda came in, voice of Rin Tosaka. But for this year, there was like no highlights to gush over and to be remembered by, and that's fine. It's completely fine. I don't. It's whatever. It happened. And then, I guess, if we want to focus on the good parts, one, more people are more accepting of it now, and it's kind of like baked into like a bunch of people. Like, okay, this is gonna be their day. Let it be. Or not gonna make a big deal out of it. And also, several people inside complaining. There's like no real people outside who are like, ooh, look at these people, look at all these weirdos. None of them anymore. It's it's slowly being accepted, right? Still hear from here and there from certain groups, but for the most part, it's fine. It's not too much of a big deal. The art booths, having a dedicated art booth section on top is amazing because it gives more artists a chance to showcase their artworks and sell it and make a good amount of income out of it. And also having it dedicated like that is actually pretty neat. It's just the fucking way how going about it. Just fix that shit. But I already said, you could just put a border and put a like way to U-turn it instead of having to go into the booth one by fucking one. It almost felt like they just made it there because having a they need a reason to give them the tag users to feel like they have a special path when it could just be divided properly. Anyways, there's also more cosplaying now. Cosplaying now is becoming more normalized, obviously. And then what else? I guess there's now more resources for people to not only cosplay and also more acceptance towards it. But there's also like more like higher profile stuff being played out, and that's a mixed bag on my book because I actually like when the quote unquote low profile stuff comes in and being performed. One, saves money, but second, the more important ones for me is like it shows me it introduces me to newer things that I probably wouldn't even know about. Like years ago, there was like the DJs and stuff I didn't know. Now I listen to them almost as part as blended in or as to my normal stuff that I listen to. And that would be great to do that again. And I get why they want to do high profile stuff. It wouldn't attract people, but I find charm in the hit or miss and the hit or miss like nature of calling lower profile, not low as in like completely unknown. You could just call me in and I'll do it for free, but that's a different story. And what else? There's there are things where I would agree that they handle well is like the response from day one to day two. It's actually a bit better, and I understand that they cannot just set up a protocol for it. Like, oh, the first day they cannot just send out an order the first day to respond to it immediately, and I understand that it's fine. But how they responded on the second day is actually pretty, what's it called? Pretty good, pretty, pretty well thought out. But the rest, I could not say anything good about it. But I don't hate it either. I came there and I got so many what's it called valuable information regarding and knowledge regarding like how the art community stuff is being run there, and that's all that's enough to compensate for whatever this year was. uh but is it going to be every time that for every case? No, it's just that this year I'll just chalk it up to no one expected to have a sea people. That's about it. I think I'm gonna do a recap of like this year at some point before New Year's. But this is let's just deal with CF for this one first. I guess until next time. See ya.